Hi my friends! Happy day! Wherever you are at in your day, I hope that is going amazing. So before we get started, go ahead and grab a block if you guys have one. We're going to use it a little bit today. If you don't, it's really not a big deal. You can always improvise with like household items. If you have something laying around that's kind of like the same size and shape as the yoga block, go ahead and grab it. If not, I promise that you're going to be okay. So set the block to the side for now, and then go ahead and take a easy seat on your mat. I'm going to go ahead and face you guys, but you all can be at the top of your mat or wherever you like to start. So cross one shin in front of the other. Try to meet at the center of your shins. So we're going to open up the hips just a little bit. Close the eyes if you like. Start to ground down into the sit bones. Arms are going to come down on either side of you, so fingertips just gently resting on either side of the mat for now. And just start to tap into your breath. We're going to really lean into some gratitude and joy today. So on an inhale, I want you to start to lift the arms up overhead. Make yourself as long as possible. And just in your head, say, I am filled with gratitude for this day, for maybe your family, your job. Maybe it's just your breath today. Anything that's filling you with gratitude. And then as you exhale, start to float both hands down to place them over your heart and say, I choose to lean into joy. And again, inhale, sweep the arms overhead. I am filled with gratitude. Exhale, float the hands down over your heart. I choose to lean into joy. Good, let's do that 3 more times. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. I am filled with gratitude, overflowing, brimming to the top with gratitude. Exhale, hands over your heart. I am choosing to lean into joy. Inhale, arms overhead. I am filled with gratitude. Exhale, hands over your heart. I am leaning into joy. Last time, inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Filled up with gratitude, overflowing with gratitude. Exhale. Last time, hands over the heart. I am leaning into abundant joy. And then let the hands float down to your knees. Start to open up the eyes. Go ahead and roll the shoulders back a few times. Maybe smile. Relax your forehead. And then place the right hand or fingertips down on the mat. Inhale the left arm up, sweeping it over. Nice little side bend through the left side of the body. Try to keep that left hip bone grounded down on the mat. Pull the shoulder away from the ear, so creating all of that space. And then inhale back through center. Left hand or fingertips come down. Right arm sweeps up and over. Nice side bend through the right side of the body. Inhale. Right fingertips come down, left arm sweeps up and over. So last time on each side. Every inhale, maybe imagine your spine getting a little bit longer. And every exhale, allow your body to relax into that side bend a little bit more. Inhale, sweep it back up. Left hand or fingertips come down. Right arm sweeps up and over. Good, slowly come back up. Go ahead and bring hands to the front of the mat. So whatever that is for you, work your way onto your hands and your knees. We're just gonna gently move into some cat-cow. So stack those shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. On an inhale, gently drop the belly, not forcing anything. Softly melt the chest through the upper arms. Lift the head up. Coming into cow pose. Exhale, push the ground away from you as you round through the upper back. Stretching like a cat, almost like you're waking up from a nap. And then inhale, drop the belly gently, soften the chest through the arms. Coming back into cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Last time, inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Come back into your neutral tabletop position. So keeping the hips where they are, you'll notice that they're stacked over the knees. I want you to start to crawl the hands forward. So we're making our way into puppy pose. What tends to happen is as we crawl the hands forward, the hips want to follow. So again, push the hips back. Send the bum high up into the air as you crawl those fingertips forward and melt your chest down to the ground. You can either rest on your chin if you kind of want to open up the throat chakra a little bit more, or you can simply lay a cheek or your forehead down onto the mat. So just kind of broadening everything through the front of the body. If this isn't enough for you, you can tent the fingertips to create a little bit more space. Sink that chest a little bit lower. We're going to be here for the next 8 breaths. If your mind is starting to wander, go ahead and ground down into those mantras again. Filled with gratitude, leaning into joy. Slowly start to draw the hands back and then come back up onto your hands and knees, so returning to tabletop pose. We'll tuck the toes here and gently send the hips back and up, downward facing dog. So keeping a little bend in the knees if this is your first downward dog of the day, checking in with the backs of the legs. You can find stillness or movement. So for the next 5 breaths, do whatever your body is feeling, wherever it's taking you. If you want to pedal out the legs, or maybe shift from side to side on your feet. Check back in with your breath. Do another body scan, see how everything's feeling. On an inhale, look in between the hands. For this first vinyasa, let's take a nice slow walk to the top of the mat. You can bend the knees if you need to as your feet get closer to your hands and the backs of the legs feel tight. Inhale, halfway lift. Again, fingertips can come down to the ground, to the shins, to the thighs, wherever you're at right now. Exhale, fold forward. Crown of the head goes nice and heavy down towards the ground. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms sweep overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms sweep overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Bend at the knees if you need to. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms down, step back 1 foot at a time. Drop the knees if you need to modify, and then chaturanga down, keeping the elbows nice and tight in towards the side body, belly all the way to the ground. Untuck the toes once you get there. So hands should be right around, lined up with your chest. On an inhale, nice little lift, baby cobra. So chest and head come off the ground. Exhale, release. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale, roll up, baby cobra. Keep broadening through the front body, opening up through the heart. Exhale, release. Inhale, I'm filled with gratitude. Roll up into cobra. Exhale, leaning into joy. Inhale, rise up, look over the right shoulder. Exhale, come back down. Inhale, roll up, left shoulder. Exhale, roll back down. Tuck the toes, push back onto the hands and knees, and then send the hips high, downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths here. Slowly start to walk the hands back towards your feet this time. So working your way to the back of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Head goes nice and heavy. You can straighten out the legs more on these forward folds as your legs start to open up and get a little bit warmer. Take a bend in the knees and slowly uncurl. All the way to standing. Shoulders roll up, back, and down the spine. Wiggle it out for a moment. Look down at your feet. Make sure they're about hip distance apart. We're going to work our way into tree pose. So balancing on the right foot first. Let's all see if we can lift our toes off the ground. Spread them nice and wide like you would your fingers. And then root them back down into your mat. Good. So creating a nice big platform with your right foot. Find a gazing point out in front of you, or maybe it's just a few feet out in front of you on your mat. Could be out more on the horizon. Start to send weight into your right leg, and you're going to either kickstand that left foot so the ankle can simply come right up to the shin of the right leg, or you can place the left foot on your right shin, or you can place the left foot on your right thigh. Just make sure that you don't put it directly on the knee. So find your gazing point and then find your tree. Arms can be in prayer. They can be out to the side. They can be overhead. Find whatever variation of tree your body is feeling today. You can even wave your arms up and down. Maybe you're a tree that's blowing in the wind. If you really, really want to get in tune with your body, maybe try closing your eyes. And that will really, really draw attention to your foot, what parts of it you're using to balance on. Kind of adds a nice little challenge into our tree pose. Good. Slowly open your eyes if they're closed. And go ahead and release the foot wherever it's at, but keep the knee lifted. Keep lifting, lifting. So we're going to stay here, or if you want to, try to send that left leg out straight. So the left thigh may start to cramp, and that's okay. We're just building strength in that left quad and hip flexor. Good. A few more breaths, guys. You all got it. And then slowly lower that left leg back down. Whew, shake it out for a second. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Hands to the ground, walk it back out. Downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward. High plank. Chaturanga down, drop the knees if you need to modify. All the way to your belly, untuck the toes. We're gonna move into bow pose. So come onto your forearms. We're gonna bend one foot in and then the other. So almost like you're trying to kick your butt with your heels. And then whichever hand you're comfortable with, go ahead and reach back. So same hand to same foot. If you're more open in the shoulders, you can reach for the inside of the foot. If you're less open, you're gonna reach for the outside. Okay, so start with that one foot. Come back down onto your belly as you reach with the other hand. So one hand reaches back and then the other. And then I want you to use your feet to kick into the palms of the hands and allow that to lift everything off of the ground. So don't force yourself into this heart opener or back bend. Use your feet to kick into your hands and slowly open and lift everything up. Nice job, guys. 3 more breaths. Remind yourself of your intentions, your mantras. Bring yourself back to your breath, your body. Exhale, slowly release. Try not to slingshot out of it. So gently release one foot and then the other. Bring your hands back to your chest, tuck your toes. Push back, tabletop pose. Downward facing dog. Walk it out for a second. And then slowly walk your hands back towards your feet. Inhale, halfway lift to lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Maybe you feel like you can go a little bit deeper in your forward folds right now than you could at the beginning of practice. And take a little bend in the knees and slowly uncurl. All the way up to standing. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down the spine. So feet about hip distance apart. This time we're going to make sure that we're lifting those left toes off the ground. Spread them nice and wide just like you would for your hands. Place them back down into the mat. Find a gazing point either out on the horizon or maybe it's just a little ways in front of you on your mat. And begin to find your tree pose on the left side. So again, you're going to either kickstand with the right foot, so toes on the ground. Heel of the right foot is on your left shin or left leg. You can also bring the right foot completely off the ground onto the left calf / shin area, or you can pull it up to the inner thigh. So wherever you're at, find your gazing point, find your tree pose. Challenge you to do whatever you did on the other side, on this side, just to create that balance within your practice. And that might push you out of your comfort zone a little bit, because one side is always easier than the other. And that's pretty normal within our yoga practice. And remember, swaying around is good. Maybe falling out and getting back in. So this is all fun and curiosity within your own practice. Don't take yourself too seriously. On an inhale, release that right foot, but keep the knee tucked. Bring it up towards your chest. Keep it there for a second, so building strength in that right leg. You can keep the knee bent, or if it's in your practice, or if you feel like you got it in you, start to straighten that right foot out. And again, if you do this, your right thigh might start to cramp up. That's totally normal. You're building muscles that we don't normally use a lot. Few more breaths. And exhale, release. Shake it out for a second. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, walk it back out. Downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward, high plank. Exhale, chaturanga down. Modify if you need to by dropping the knees. Come all the way down to your belly. Keep the toes tucked this time. Go ahead and stack your elbows under your shoulders, so come onto your forearms. You can adjust yourself on your mat if you need to. Fingers spread nice and wide. Engage the core, and we're going to lift ourselves off the ground into a forearm plank. Good, so keep that core nice and tight, no dip in the low back. We're going to move onto one side, So I want you guys to shift onto the outside edge of the left foot, inside edge of the right foot. Shifting onto the left forearm completely, sending that right arm up towards the sky. And you can stack the feet here if it's in your practice, or you can keep those feet spaced apart for a little bit of extra balance. Exhale, come back down to that right forearm, back onto both toes, and then shift onto the outside edge of the right foot, inside edge of the left foot, or stack feet. So on the right forearm completely, send that left arm up to the sky. Keep lifting the hips, engaging the core. You guys got this. Breathe. Release the tension in your forehead. Exhale, come back down to both forearms, and then your belly. Relax for just a moment, collapsing down onto your mat. And then tuck the toes. Bring the hands to either side of your chest. Push back through tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk it out for a moment. Inhale, sweep the left leg up, three-legged dog. Exhale, shift the gaze in between the hands, draw that left knee into the chest. Big step forward with the left foot, spin onto the heel of the back foot. Rise up, warrior two. So checking in with our warrior two, imagine there's an invisible wall behind you and you're leaning back against it. So we're not hinging forward at the hips, but we're leaning back against this invisible wall. Nice weight in both feet, so try not to lean into one foot more than the other, but we got a good equal balance going in both feet. Start to bring that left forearm down to the left thigh, sweep the right arm up and over, so reaching out in front of you. Extended side angle pose. Keep opening up with the chest. So if you feel like your front body is closing off down towards the ground, imagine that you're opening your heart up towards the ceiling here. A few more breaths. Good, and then go ahead and look around for your block. This is where you're going to grab it, so it should be pretty close to your mat. If you need to hop in and out of warrior two, you can. But go ahead and grab it, put it into your left hand, and set it down just in front of your left foot. From here, we're gonna put the right hand on our hip, heel toe that right foot in just a little bit, so you start to feel more of the weight shift into your left foot and your left palm, okay? We're gonna work our way into half moon. So I want you guys to start to get really bouncy in that left leg and work on floating that right foot off of the ground. So the left knee can stay bent, but you want to bring your right leg completely off of the ground behind you. Okay, with the right hand on the hip, imagine yourself stacking that right hip on top of the left. So you're peeling your right hip open and eventually straightening that left leg out if you can. Now the left leg can stay bent if your hamstring's really tight. The main thing that you want to work on is opening up your chest and your hips so your shoulders are stacked on one another and your hips are stacked on one another. Working our way into our half moon. Nice job, guys. Play with the balance here. This is a tricky one. And this is where the block comes in handy for your left hand. You can put it on any level, or if you don't need the block, you don't have to use one. Nice job. A few more breaths. And exhale, slowly bend back into that left leg. Float that right foot back down. Move the block off to the side. Cartwheel the hands down. Step that left foot back. Take a vinyasa. So chaturanga down. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, big step to the outside of the left hand. And then walk the hands to the middle of the mat. So you should be in a wide-legged stance. Halfway lift once you get there. Place the hands on the hips. Rise all the way up. Nice job, guys. Go ahead and turn the toes out. So if the toes are facing forward on your mat, turn them out just a little bit. And then start to bend into the knees. Sit the hips low. Nice job, guys. So coming into goddess pose. Really, really getting into our hips for a second. I like to rock side to side. So for the next 5 breaths, wherever you're at, I want you to do what feels good in your body. If you want to make some movement, if you want to sit, maybe remind yourself of your mantras, your intentions. Now's a good time to come back to your breath. Notice what your face is doing here. Are you grimacing? Or are you smiling? Are you relaxed? Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Say it again, I'm filled with gratitude. Exhale, float the hands over top of your heart. I am leaning into abundant joy. Inhale, arms overhead, filled with gratitude. Exhale, hands over the heart, leaning into abundant joy. Last time, inhale, filled with gratitude. Exhale, leaning into abundant joy. Good, place the hands out to the side. Start to slowly rock. See if you can get the hips a little lower. I know you guys are burning, I am too. Soften the forehead. See if you can work past that place of physical discomfort. And then slowly straighten out the legs. Spin the toes forward. Exhale. Forward fold. Release everything. Start to crawl the hands over to the right foot. And then you're going to send that right foot back, downward facing dog. So you should be faced opposite ways on your mat at this point. If you can see your block, move it to the new top of your mat. So you want to have it within arm's reach. We're going to do the other side. Inhale, right leg lifts up. Exhale, big step forward, spin onto the heel of the back foot. Rise up, warrior 2. Lean back into that invisible wall. So find your warrior 2 for a moment. If you feel yourself hinging forward, closing off, we're naturally a forward-bodied people. We always close off, lean forward, open up through the heart and the chest, lean back, open yourself up. Remember, your heart is opening to all of that gratitude and that abundant joy. So break yourself open. Slowly begin to rest that right forearm on top of the right thigh. Sweep the left arm up and over until it's reaching out in front of you. So extended side angle, keep that deep lunge in the front leg. And every exhale, see if you can open the heart up to the ceiling, the sky, wherever you're at, just a little bit more. And then start to find your block. Go ahead and grab it with the right hand this time. So readjust on your mat if you need to. Find your warrior 2. Place the block a little ways out in front of that right foot. Left hand on the hip, begin to heel toe that left foot in just a little bit until you feel most of the weight start to stack into the right leg. And then see if you can take a little hop, spring that left foot, left leg off of the ground, and then looking for that stack in the right arm. So shoulder should be over the wrist, right leg is still completely stacked, and we're working working on peeling that left hip open. So hip is on top of hip, shoulder is on top of shoulder. Try not to close everything off towards the ground, but open everything up towards the side of your mat. Nice job, guys. Depending on where you're at, your right knee could be bent. Your left hand may still be on your hip. You can take whatever variation you like. You can reach up with that left palm if you want. If you're feeling super, super sassy right now, maybe even float that right hand. Woo! I was feeling sassy, but my body was like, no. You can even try floating your right hand off the ground and doing half moon with just one foot. That's always a super fun challenge. So just kind of play around with where you're at today. And then slowly exhale, bend into that right leg. Left foot floats back down onto the mat. Cartwheel the hands down around the right foot. Step it back. Take a vinyasa. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Drop the knees nice and wide. Big toes come to touch. Press it back into child's pose. Slowly, slowly pull yourself back up. Go ahead and take a seat on your mat. I'm going to do this facing you all so you can see, but take a seat on your bum. Feet are going to be out in front of you with the knees bent, a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Pull the heels in towards you as much as you can. Arms are going to be on either side of you. And we're just gently going to drop both knees down to the same side. And then the other. So just kind of relieving the hips a little bit, maybe opening them up a tiny bit more. Your hands don't have to be on the ground if you don't want. Sometimes it's just nice for balance if you don't want to worry about balancing your body at that moment. Good. Let's do one more time on each side, and then we're going to take it into a little side body variation. So if you scooted off of your mat, go ahead and recenter yourself. You kind of move a little bit as you do this. Bring the feet back to where you started. So this time, let's all drop over, knees to the left. Left hand is going to go behind your left hip. You're going to lift up onto the knees and then open that right side body. So reaching with the right fingertips. Exhale, bring it back down to center. Knees come back up. Drop over to the right. Right hand behind the hips. Lift up. Send that left arm up and over. Reaching with those fingertips. Exhale, release. 2 more times on each side. So move at your own pace through these. Whatever feels good. Last time on each side. Good. And then coming back to that cross-legged seat that we started our practice in. If you can, if you remember, cross your legs the opposite way this time. So whatever way feels unnatural, do that way, because normally we always start with the side that feels the most natural. Take some deep breaths. Go ahead and ground back down into those sit bones. Move into your back body. So if you feel yourself leaning forward, hunching at the shoulders, bending over, open up through the heart and the chest space. Lean into your back body. And we're going to end practice the same way we started it. So inhale, sweep the arms overhead. I am filled with gratitude. Exhale, place the hands over your heart. I am choosing to lean into joy. Inhale, arms overhead. I'm filled with gratitude. It can be for the smallest or the biggest thing. Exhale, hands over heart. I'm filled with joy. Leaning into joy. Choosing joy. Inhale, arms overhead. I'm filled to the very, very top with gratitude. Exhale, hands over your heart. I am choosing to lean into abundant joy. Thank you guys so much for practicing with me today, and I will see you all next time.